Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. We're here. Gentle yoga. I'm so glad to be here. Let's come on down onto our backs and we'll start just coming into active rest pose. Feet on the mat, and let's place our hands on our belly. Just letting the shoulders release. Let's do a few cartoon chewing movements with the jaw. And let the jaw release. And with the eyes closed, just become aware of the feeling of the ground underneath your back. Feeling that sense of support from Mother Earth. And just let your body have that feeling of support. That feeling of groundedness. That feeling of being here. And slowly, gently, let's just rock our neck side to side, keeping the jaw completely relaxed. And let's rock the neck back to center. And let's just sway the knees just a few inches left to right. Back to center. Feeling the sacrum nice and neutral. Then with the hands on the belly, let's take several very deep, slow, deliberate breaths. Drawing the breath all the way into the lungs, filling the lungs slowly to their fullest. And then just releasing, allowing the exhale to go. And let's do that a few times. Slow, deep breaths in. Nice, long, releasing exhales. And let's just let the breath normalize, breathing in and out through the nose. Think of a quality that you'd like to invite into your life today. Maybe it's a greater sense of peace or more clarity. Maybe it's a deeper sense of humor or a felt sense of abundance. Whatever that quality is, bring it to mind and hold it in your consciousness as we take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Whatever it is that your heart is hoping for today. As you breathe in, name that quality. And as you breathe out in the silence of your own mind, just say to yourself, I am that. Breathing in, say to yourself the name of the quality you're inviting into your life today. Breathing out, I am that. Offer yourself some self-compassion if it feels like there's a big friction or a distance between this quality and truly feeling like that is you today? What if it's possible that it's safe and okay for you to become more and more aligned with that quality? And keeping the eyes nice and soft, let's release our arms out wide to either side. And as we exhale, let's let the knees sway to one side, turning our face to the other side. As we breathe in, let's draw everything back to center. And as we breathe out, let's sway the other way, nice and slow. Back and forth. With each exhale, releasing any obstacle to our happiness, releasing any obstacle to our sense of peace, releasing any obstacle to our sense of joy. We don't need to make it happen. It's exhaling and allowing it to happen. Let's gently, slowly sway our way back to center, back to neutral. Let's reach our arms up where we can see them. So our hands will be right up over the heart somewhere. And let's begin to circle the wrists round and round, softening the shoulders, letting the shoulders stay relaxed. Jaw is released. Then change direction, breathing deep in and out through the nose. Then coming back to center as we breathe in, let's spread all 10 fingers wide. And as we breathe out, let's make a fist, curling our fingers inward. We'll inhale, stretch the fingers out wide. Exhale, curl them in. Let's do this a few more times. And let's gently draw our right knee in close and clasp our hands over the right shin, stretching the left leg out long. Let's begin to gently rock this right thigh side to side, massaging into the hip. And let's sway that back to center and stretch that right leg up to the sky, holding on behind the back of the thigh. Let's flex that ankle forward and back. Again, keeping the shoulders and the jaw relaxed. And let's circle that ankle round and round and change direction. And let's release. We'll place that foot on the ground and draw the left knee in close, clasping our hands over that shin and stretching the right leg out long. Let's begin to gently rock this left thigh side to side, breathing deep. Let's draw that leg back to center and stretch it up to the sky, flexing that left ankle forward and back. And let's circle the ankle round and round. And change direction. Deep breaths flowing through. And release. We'll place that foot on the mat, bringing the right foot onto the mat as well. Arms at our sides. Let's warm up the spine with some dynamic bridge poses, pressing the lower back into the mat, then peeling up into bridge. Let's take a big breath in. As we curl down, let's exhale, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. And we'll flow with the breath, rolling up on the inhale and down on the exhale. If you'd like to add a movement of the arms, as the hips lift, we can reach those arms up over the crown of the head and lower them back to our side as we roll down. If you prefer to just focus on your back and let the arms rest, that's fine too. Feel free to close the eye, all the better to connect the movement with the breath. Let's do two more. And then as we curl down, we'll return to a nice neutral spine. Stretching the right leg up to the sky, let's clasp our hands behind the back of that thigh and release the left leg out long on the mat. Take a couple breaths, reaching in these two directions. Right leg reaching up, left leg reaching down. Then let's switch legs, clasping hands behind the back of that left thigh and stretching and reaching the legs in both directions. Let's reach both legs straight up toward the sky, and we'll reach our arms toward the sky as well, palm facing palm. We'll reach our opposite arm and leg away as we breathe in, and on the exhale, return. Opposite arm and leg reach away on the inhale. Exhale, return. We'll go side to side. Then returning to center, let's move just the right side limbs away from each other on the inhale and back to center on the exhale. Then the left side limbs reach away on the inhale, return on the exhale. And let's again alternate. Right side limbs only, left side only. Back and forth. And one last time for the brain. Opposite arm and leg, reach away. Return on the exhale. Opposite arm and leg, reach away on the inhale. Return on the exhale. Let's do a couple more. Once more on each side. And let's bring both knees in close to the belly. Wrap your arms around the legs. Give yourself a big hug. And rock gently side to side. And rocking back to center. Let's make our way onto one side. And we'll press our way up, coming onto hands and knees. Please feel free to put some padding underneath the knees or the wrists or both. And we'll come into a tabletop position with our hands right underneath our shoulders and the knees right underneath the hips. Let's take a few breaths in cat-cow, arching the back on the inhale and rounding on the exhale. And coming back to center, let's slide one leg out back behind us as we breathe in and slide it back as we exhale. Then the other leg, we'll slide it back, slide it in. We'll go back and forth. And if we want to add a balance challenge, we'll slide the opposite arm away and exhale, return. You can imagine we're balancing something on our back, like the Lego set my son wanted to build in the car. Mom, I can't find my Lego piece. I wonder why. Try to hold it really steady, but it doesn't always work. The next time we have our opposite arm and leg extended, let's hold there breathing. We're going to lift those limbs up on the inhale and just touch the earth lightly on the exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale, touch down. 1 more time. Then bring it in and we'll switch. Opposite arm and leg sliding away. We'll lift on the inhale, touch down on the exhale. 1 more time. Then we'll float down and release into a child's pose or puppy pose. Reaching those hips back, stretching the fingertips forward, breathing length and space into the spine. And let's rise back up into our tabletop, knees right underneath the hips. We're going to slide our left fingertips out toward the side now, a little bit of a diagonal line, and slide the right leg out and away on the diagonal. So left arm, right leg, reaching away. Then we're going to slide them in on that same diagonal. We're going to stick with this same set of limbs because my brain just can't hack it. We alternate quite yet. I'm going to reach away on the inhale and return on the exhale. The next time we reach away, let's hold. We're going to lift on the inhale, touch down on the exhale, just lightly. Lift and lower. 1 more time. Lower down, bring it in. Other side, we'll find that diagonal line, sliding away, returning on the exhale, nice and slow. The next time we reach away, let's hold. We'll lift on the inhale, touch lightly down on the exhale. Nice and slow. One more time. And release down. Let's bring our big toes together. Walk the knees out away from each other so we can come into a wide-kneed child's pose. Reaching the hips back and stretching those arms forward. Let's breathe deep into the back again. And let's glide back up into our tabletop. So if our wrists are getting tired at all of being on hands and knees, we can always take a block and place it underneath the right forearm instead. We're going to bring our left fingertips to our left shoulder. So you can be on your right palm or on that right forearm on a block. We'll reach that left elbow forward and rotate it up on an inhale, back and down on the exhale. Guys are making me look like a big wimp. So I'm the only one using a block. Guess I'll just have to be brave. Know that you're welcome to if you want to. We're going to change direction. Of course, I'm probably the only one here who didn't practice at all last week. I'm happy to be a wimp. The next time we reach that left elbow straight up toward the sky, let's hold there breathing. And we can reach with the elbow or reach with the arm, lifting through the heart. Let's take one more inhale. And exhale, release it down. We're going to come into a puppy pose. So we'll stretch those arms as far forward as we can reach. Then melt the heart toward the mat. Maybe the forehead even comes down to rest on the mat. We're pressing with the fingertips and pulling those hips back, breathing deep. And let's walk it back in, back to our tabletop. If you want to use the block, and put it underneath the left forearm this time. We'll bring our right fingertips to that right shoulder. Reach the elbow forward and up on the inhale, back and down on the exhale. Moving with your breath. And let's change direction. One more full circle. Then let's reach that right elbow straight up toward the sky, either holding here or reaching with the fingertips, letting the heart lift. One more inhale. And exhale, come down. Let's again walk those hands out toward the front of our mat, maybe even off the mat as far as we can reach. Then soften through the heart for puppy pose. Maybe bringing the forehead down to the mat and reaching the hips back. Deep breath. And let's walk those hands back in, back to tabletop. From here, we'll bring our left foot forward to a kneeling position. And let's have our block where we can reach it, somewhere not too far away. We'll bring both hands up to that front thigh, that left thigh. Now, I toe in if I'm not watching. So you might look back at your foot and make sure it's not toeing in or out, but that it's straight back behind the knee. You want it nice and aligned. You can be on the tops of the toes or your toes can be curled under. Then let's find our block. We're gonna hold it, our hands out in front. Then inhale, let's reach it up overhead. And with an exhale, we'll bring it down, lightly squeezing inward into the block. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. As we lift and lower, our legs are hugging together toward the center line. Let's do one more. Then let's reach our block up overhead. Hold here, hugging those legs toward each other. We're gonna lean slightly toward the left. A little side bend here, opening up through that right side. Then back to center, little side bend to the right, breathing deep. And back to center. And we're gonna place that block down just to the right of our leg and bring that right hand onto it. We'll put a little weight onto there. Left hand comes to the left hip and we'll roll that left shoulder back. Take the left arm up to the sky and open through the heart, adjusting the position of that block where you need it to get a nice big heart opening twist here. One more inhale and exhale. Come on down. We'll bring both hands to the inside of that left foot. Slide that left foot further forward. And we'll let the hips drop toward the mat. Deep stretch for that left hip. Lizard pose. Let the heart soften a little bit. Jaw is relaxed, eyes are soft. Like a happy lizard basking in the sun. And let's gently ease our way back, sliding that left foot back. Once the knees are even with each other, let's walk our hands over to the left off the mat and pull the hips back and away to the right for a gentle crescent child's pose. Let the head drop down, breathing into that right side. And let's gently rise. We'll walk our hands back through the center and over to the right. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, we'll pull the hips back and away to the left, breathing deep into that left side. And gently rise back to the center. So we'll again have our block where we can reach it easily. And then let's bring our right foot forward. We're in our kneeling position. And we'll bring our hands up to that front thigh, rolling the shoulders down the back. And let's venture a look back, see what our left foot is doing. And let's make sure we're doing the same thing on this side that we did on the first side. Then let's find our block, place it between the palms, shoulders soft. As we inhale, we'll reach it up to the sky. And as we exhale, we'll return it back down, lightly pressing inward to activate the arms. As we reach up with those arms, the legs are hugging together toward the center. So they would slide toward each other if it weren't for our nice sticky mat here. One more time. Then with an inhale, let's reach that block up. We'll hold there. Draw the core lightly in, shoulders dropping down the back. We'll start to side bend to the right, hugging those legs toward each other, breathing deep into that left side. Then coming back to center, let's side bend to the left, opening up through that right side. Then let's reach straight up to the sky. And exhale, release down. We'll place that block to the left, placing our left hand on it. Put the right hand on that right hip and guide that right shoulder back, lifting the heart. And let's take our right arm up to the sky, opening the heart, rolling that right shoulder back. One more inhale. And exhale, release down. We'll bring both hands to the instep of that right foot. We'll start to slide or scoot that right foot further forward, walking the hands forward, putting a little weight on the hands. Because we have the block, you could also put the forearms on the block if you want to be off your wrists at all. And we'll just let those hips release toward the mat. Softening the jaw, the eyes, the shoulders. Let the heart soften. And little by little, let's walk the hands back. Let's slide our right foot back, so we're back in our tabletop position. Let's walk the knees apart, big toes toward each other. And again, we'll take a wide-kneed child's pose, reaching those hips back and just letting everything relax. There's some deep breaths here. Then deepening the breath. Let's walk forward again, returning to our tabletop. Knees come in. We'll slide our block to the right a little bit. Bring that left knee forward. Back in our kneeling position again. Finding our alignment. Let's find our block again. We'll place it between the hands. Now, as we inhale and raise the block, let's lean the hips forward. Big back bend here. Exhale, draw the hips back, lowering that block down. Inhale, reach it up. Let the hips lower. Exhale, return. We can look upward as we reach those hips forward if that feels okay to your neck. Or we can just keep a neutral neck. The next time we lean in, let's hold there, breathing. Let those hips melt toward the mat. Reach up through the tips of the fingers. One more inhale. And exhale, return. We'll place the block to the right. And let's curl our right toes under, lifting that right knee. Place the right hand on the block. Left hand to that left hip. Roll it back. Lift the heart toward the sky, and yes, we can reach that arm up if we like. One more big inhale. Exhale, release. Gently lower the right knee to the mat. We'll slide that left foot further forward, coming onto the heel, and just gently pulling the hips back here. One more full breath. And let's release. We'll slide that left foot back. Bring the right foot forward. Finding our high kneeling position with good alignment. Let's bring that block between the palms. As we inhale, we'll reach it up, leaning those hips forward. Exhale, return. Last one, as we lean in, we'll hold, letting the hips drop down, reaching up through the tips of the fingers. One more inhale and exhale down. We'll bring our block to the left side of the mat. Fingertips on the mat for a moment so we can curl those left toes under and lift that left knee off the mat. Then let's place our left hand on the block, right hand to the right hip, roll that right shoulder back, and if we like, we can reach that right arm to the sky. One more big inhale. Exhale down. We'll gently let that left knee lower onto the mat or onto our padding. Reach the hips back a little bit and we'll slide that right foot forward some amount. Coming onto that right heel, toes are lifted. And just reach the hips back. They're energetically. Breathing deep into that right hamstring. And let's soften. We're going to make our way into a wide-legged forward fold. So we could just leave our right leg stretched out as it is and lift up. Yep, should work. Toes pointed slightly in, heels slightly out. Little micro bend in the knees. You can walk your feet further out or further in to where you feel like you've got a nice big stretch. And we'll let our head drop toward the earth. Let's do a few slow motion shoulder rolls here, inviting gravity to help us release any tension in the spine. Get some good traction there to create more length and space. And keeping our feet firmly planted on the ground, let's lean the hips ever so slightly to the right. Breathing deep. And back to center. Lean the hips slightly to the left. Let the head drop. And back to center. Let's locate our block. We'll bring that right below the collarbones. Stretching forward just slightly so we've got a lot of length in the spine. We'll keep our right hand on the block. Reach the left arm forward and up. Yeah, so we get that nice heart opener again. Reach those hips back. Reach the crown of the head forward. A lot of length here. One more inhale. And exhale, lower down. Place that left hand on the block. Right arm reaches forward and up, opening through the heart. Keep reaching those hips back. Heart lifts. One more inhale. We're going to bring it down. We can either now bring that right hand back to the block or bring the right hand to the left shin. We'll take the left arm out and up again. A little deeper twist. One more inhale. Exhale down. We'll either bring the left hand to the block or the left hand to the right shin. Right arm reaches up. Heart open. Deep breaths. One more inhale. And exhale down. Put a little bend in the knees. We're going to walk our way into downward facing dog. Reorienting on the mat. We can find our way into down dog. Softening through the heart. And just bending one knee and then the other. Let's turn our gaze and look underneath our right armpit, looking back behind us. And then turn the gaze and look under the left armpit, looking back behind us. And we'll look back toward the heels. Bend one knee and then the other. Then gently bend those knees and lower all the way down. We'll take any version of child's pose or puppy pose that feels good to you. Softening the heart, breathing deep. And let's walk our hands back underneath us. I'm going to give two different options here. We've done quite a few hip openers with our lizard poses and our standing forward folds. So one option will be to come into a pigeon pose, a supported pigeon pose. And I'll show you these options. We have our block. We could place it to the left of our mat and bring that left foot forward so we can rest the left thigh right on that block and stretch the right leg out long. I sometimes find pigeon pose is too much for my back knee, or it's intense on the hips. If you don't feel like doing that version of the pose today, our second option would be to do the same basic pose, but without the body weight on the hip. So this is basically pigeon, just a different relation to gravity. So please decide which one you prefer to do. Good. Then let the eyes just rest. And we'll hold this pose, whichever one you're doing, for several deep breaths. Either way, it's a pretty big hip opening pose. So let's begin to emphasize the exhale. The longer exhales help to regulate the nervous system and bring calm as we go deeper into that hip. Using the exhales to just release any tension that we're feeling anywhere in the mind or body. We'll take 3 or 4 more deep breaths. And deepening your breath. If you are doing the version where you're resting on your back, just bring your feet to the mat and sway the knees side to side. If you're doing the more the pigeon pose, block under your thigh, downward dog is a really nice release from that pose, or a child's pose. And let's take a few breaths in a nice relaxing counter pose of some kind before we go on to side 2. Offering yourself some self-care and nurturing by deepening the breath. Then when you're ready, we'll make our way onto the second side. If you're using that block, just come down and slide it over to the right. So we can place it right underneath the right thigh. And if you're resting on your back, just let those shoulders rest, but flex your toes toward the knee. And that'll draw us a little deeper into that hip opener. And again, we'll emphasize the exhale. Let's take 3 or 4 more nice, deep, slow breaths. Maybe going a little deeper into the pose, softening just a little more. And if you're not quite ready to come out, you're welcome to linger a little bit longer. And whenever you do feel complete on this side, we'll take our counter pose again, whether that's swaying the knees or a downward dog or child's pose. And let's gently release our way down and all the way down. And let's find our strap. And we'll put a big loop into our strap. So we want a nice big lasso. And we're gonna, this is our lasso trick. We're gonna lasso ourselves and just put it right around our waist. We want it really big. And we'll sit, bringing the feet together, soles of the feet together. That's why we want it to be just a nice big strap. So we've got it around our back. And we're gonna take the other end of the circle. I don't know if you guys can see me on Zoom, but we'll just place it underneath the fronts of the feet. And then we can snug it up. So I didn't take an airplane on my trip, I drove. So we're gratifying my need to be buckled in by the stewardess by securing our feet here with the buckle in place. So we want to snug it up until we feel like it's supporting us. So it's around, I'll turn to the sides, you can see. It's around the lower back and then over the front of the feet. Looks good. So what this allows us to do is let the hips just passively release because they feel supported by the strap. And we're just going to rest in this pose for several breaths. Again, just taking a nice passive hip opener here. And we can either remain sitting up, or we could lower down, a little bit of a back bend onto our back. If you lower down, you don't have to get up again. You could just loosen the strap. So don't worry about the return trip. Yeah, before you get into it. Yeah. So either way, we're just sitting or laying down. We'll just allow the hips to feel supported We'll take 3 or 4 more deep breaths. And you may find that despite its appearance, it's actually soothing to rest in this pose, in which case you're welcome to stay longer. Or you may find that despite my calming tone, this is the worst pose that you've ever experienced and you hate it. In which case, at any point, just pull the buckle to where you could reach it and gently release the strap. I'm going to come out of the pose so I can dim our lights for Shavasana. You're welcome to linger. And at any point when you're ready for Shavasana, just unthread that strap, wiggle your way out of it like Houdini. And we'll come into our Shavasana pose. Feel free to wiggle around a little bit, unwinding any tension in the body. This is the perfect song to round out our practice. She's singing Sat Nam. Sat is truth. Truth is my name. So let's recall again that quality that we're inviting into our lives. Maybe it's hope, joy, clarity, peace, abundance. Breathing in, say the name of the quality, whatever it is. Breathing out, I am that. Or you can simply say Nam, meaning that is my name. I am that. We'll let go even of that gentle meditation, allowing the mind to drift toward peace. Mm. Let's bring the awareness back to the heart, noticing how you feel in mind, body, and spirit. Any changes from when we started our practice together today? Invite anything you didn't need to drift away, and any good feelings, benefits of the practice to stay with you. Let's deepen the breath, wiggling the fingers and the toes, gently stretching and moving. And being extra gentle with ourselves. Let's roll to one side. And we'll use our hands to help press our way up, finding a centered seat. Let's close our eyes when we get there. Bringing the hands together at the heart or placing the hands right on the heart and bowing the head to the heart for a moment, honoring the heart's wisdom, its courage, its resilience. May we all have hope, joy, love, light, and laughter. Thank you all so much for sharing part of your day. Namaste.